Oh, hi guys, it's me again, Susie Crew from Esoteric Trading Solutions. Just got some news out about some of the banks that are actually allowing or not allowing the use of credit cards for payment of cryptocurrency. The Australian government's just come out, the Australian banks have just come out and said they've released an official statement where they've said there won't be any restrictions for customers for buying Bitcoin with their credit cards or debt cards, and as far as they're concerned, they're not going to take a similar sort of aim to their British or American counterparts in terms of their restricted behaviour about whether you use your credit card or your debit card to buy crypto. And I think that's fair enough, because honestly, why should a bank be telling you what you can buy with your credit card or your debit card, particularly when you're the one that's actually got to pay it back? So ANZ told ABC tonight that they're not going to prohibit people here in Australia from using their credit card or their debt card, and pretty much they're going to be monitoring, obviously, any suspicious transactions like they normally do. But also NAB and Westpac are probably following the same vein as well. Commonwealth Bank of Australia hasn't said anything, but certainly the major banks here are not stopping it. I know there was something about a month ago where they're actually stopping people from doing it with BT markets here in Australia. They weren't allowed to withdraw funds to hit their accounts, into their bank accounts, and they're actually stopping people from getting access to those funds. So I don't know why they were doing that, but it just seems all pretty stupid to me, and I think it's just over-regulation. I think it's totally unnecessary, because again, the crypto markets are like any other asset class market. People have a right to trade those markets like any other asset class, to buy or sell or whatever. And obviously, if they lose money, they have to pay the debt back. And that's pretty much it. And, Lloyd Bank, some of the British banks have just come out. There's another story with Lloyd Bank, which I'll just grab for you. Won't be a sec. Here's the story from Lloyd Bank. I mean, they're one of the largest banks in the UK, and they've actually said they're going to stop people from using their credit cards for cryptocurrency exchanges, which I find quite amazing. So that's pretty strange. I find that. But also, as I said, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and I think it was also Morgan Stanley have stopped credit card payments in America as well, which I just find outstanding, simply because any other risk market, and all markets are risky, whether they be foreign exchange, equity markets, bond markets and the like, they're all risky. There's no guarantee you're going to make money or not make money. But every other market, you're allowed to go and use your credit card. Even the options market, which can be incredibly volatile, or the CFD market, cash for difference market, which is even a more volatile market as well. So we've actually got to put up margin, and often you can get done, at the bottoms with using margin and the like. So I find that pretty amazing. There is another story about reasons why credit cards aren't allowed, which I pulled off as well. And I'll just go into that story. Bear with me. There was three main reasons, and this was just a story that I found as well, why credit cards are being blocked for cryptocurrency purchases. And if you have a look at this, the main one is they're saying that chargebacks when buying in a one-way currency is a recipe for disaster. They're saying that credit card transactions can be reversed, whereas cryptocurrency can't be. And look, I've never heard that. The reality is, if you use your own credit card and you're buying cryptocurrency and you're giving your CVC number out and your account number and all that sort of thing and the expiry date and everything else, I've never known a credit card transaction to be reversed if you're actually doing it and you're giving your CVC amount, your CVC transaction ID. So I find that pretty amazing, because gee whiz, I could, pretty much reverse all my credit card transactions for all the cryptocurrency losses that I've taken. But I find that pretty amazing, because it certainly doesn't happen in this market, or with my banks, where I can actually reverse my credit card transactions. And they're basically saying that the bank or the issuer, would have that credit settlement problem, and they'd have to fund the liquidity of that payment. Well, I don't think that's a good enough answer, because honestly, I've never heard that before. They're saying the second thing is market volatility offers a very real risk of default. But, in any market that we're talking about, if we talk about fixed income, if we talk about foreign exchange, if we talk about cash for different contracts, option contracts. Again, if we talk about, equity markets, they can be very volatile. Certainly in 2008, the equity markets, some stocks went from, 100% obviously to zero. Markets were down to 80% at one stage. So, I just find this is pretty strange because, in some ways credit cards actually provide liquidity to the market. If you take away credit cards and money, then you're actually taking away liquidity from the market from a retail investor or retail trader point of view. So I find this article a bit dismaying actually, because I don't think it's quite correct. You're actually taking liquidity away from the market. So this is basically saying, yes, there's great market fluctuation, that sort of thing, and there's a risk of real default. Yes, banks do have credit card defaults, absolutely. But, banks actually monitor that and, they take that into account when they issue credit cards to someone. And most people that I know, do pay off their credit card at very, very high interest rates. In Australia, credit card interest rates are like 19%. To compare to, say, a 10-year bond at 3%. So the banks are getting rewarded for that credit card risk default as such. A third thing on this thing is it's talking about the risk of exit from the credit system is also real. And it's basically people, avoiding, payments of credit cards or the credit card system or something, assuming an attempt to short fiat by buying crypto against a loan. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because the reality is you still have to pay back your debt. So I don't know. I don't know whether this is a good enough answer from the bank's perspective. I just find it a bit strange that they are banning not so much here in Australia, but obviously in other countries, funding to a market, funding to the market where you're creating liquidity in a market. So if you ban liquidity in a market, that's even going to propel the sell-off even more than what it is. So I do find that very strange. Also, just want to cover very quickly China. China came out and they said they're going to stop pretty much all the ICOs, that Chinese can't take place in any ICOs at all. They're even going to go to the stage of stopping people from using foreign platforms for trading cryptocurrency. They're going to literally put a ban on everything, even mining and everything else. They have said this in the past, but the reality is, it may be very difficult to monitor, but they're very strict about that. And they put bans on Facebook and Google, what you can pull up and what you can't pull up. So they're really intent on banning cryptocurrency, which doesn't bid very well for NEO, obviously, which is NEO's, the main reason why NEO went up is it's considered, obviously, a competitor to Ethereum, but also, obviously it was seen as a cryptocurrency that's going to make a lot of headway in terms of the Chinese market. So I guess that's probably why you have seen a bit of weakness in NEO. But anyway, look, I just wanted to bring some of those stories to light. Just think, it's a bit strange with the banks particularly. But anyway, look, I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, please give me a yell. I hope you're all well. Please look after yourself in these trying times of markets. And it's not easy. I've been losing money, absolutely. So, but look, as I said, look after yourself, look after your family, friends, be kind to yourself and everyone else. You're not a loser. Everyone's losing money at the moment. It's not great. But markets do turn around. As I said, look, I've been in markets for a long time. And honestly, one day we're a feather duster and the next minute we're a hero. So take it in your stride. I know it's not great losing money, but it does happen, and that's the game we play. All right, guys, look after yourself and be well. Thank you.